a commingling of artifacts and relics at a site near Oscoda, Michigan by Dennis M. Morrison. I must once again thank Jordan Luebben for the pieces I am about to share with you. These are from a single site near Oscoda, Michigan, where the cast-offs of at least two different cultures commingle in the sands. Those cultures are the late woodland Native American as well as historic period relics which would perhaps date back at least to the 1870s, some further. I will begin with the historical period relics first. There are a total of 8 shards of glass representing 5 different bottles, 1 glass, 1 piece of window glass, and a piece which is melted so as to not be able to ascertain what it was from. A couple of the shards give clue to what they held. The largest shard would have been would have had on the side of the bottle the product name embossed into the glass. The letters DR for doctor and cough remain. Clearly, this was a patent cough medication. The glass is light blue with slight iridescence which comes with age and exposure to the elements. The next shard also appears to be from the medicine bottle, and the word syrup can be made out as well as the letters O and S. On a third fragment can be seen the letters AN, and underneath that the smaller letters UNC. I am at a loss as to what this bottle contained, and even after a Google search I could find nothing. Lastly is a small shard of clear glass which has the letters URTIS embossed on it. I believe the full word to be Curtis, but again a Google check came up with no information on what this particular product was, who manufactured it, or when. As already stated, there is one clear shard, which is the rim of a glass, very thin and would quite likely have been of a common type or variety with no decorating or cutting on the glass. There is also a single small shard of amber bottle glass with no lettering and so no indication to what it might have been, although it could have been alcohol, because I know beer down through the years has commonly used amber glass. And then lastly, the one clear piece of window glass. There are 8 stoneware shards, all are white except one which is brown. These could be from almost any era historically because there's nothing diagnostic about them. However, found with the other items in this small collection, I would assume them to also be from the 1870 era. There is one iron piece which is rounded on the end and broken off on the other. It is difficult to ascertain just what this would have been also, but it resembles the heel plate from a shoe, but I doubt that's what its purpose was. Usually heel plates are thinner and of a light-colored metal. This piece is quite obviously iron. An interesting piece in the small collection is a metal ring, itself rather small. Was this a finger ring? I cannot say for sure, but it is my gut feeling that indeed it was. I do not know what sort of metal it is, but it hasn't rusted and has a copper smell to it. It looks like this was rolled from a flat sheet of metal, as you can see a small seam line in it. I cannot say for certain, though, that it is copper, but if it is, this could be a Native American-made artifact during the copper culture period, which would date it back a very long time before the late woodland. While copper artifacts in Michigan are not rare, they are seldom recovered as opposed to the Stone Age artifacts. There is also one crude metal button with 4 holes. By far I am no expert on antique buttons. However, I have never seen this type in metal before. I have seen glass and even shell buttons like this, but never metal. If there were any markings on it, they have long since weathered away. All that are left are 9 iron nails and 5 different sizes. 3 are in quite good condition. I very much doubt that these were machine-made nails and tend to think that they were hammered on by a blacksmith, possibly a local one at that. Alright then, let's move on to the prehistoric artifacts that Jordan found. First was a small beige piece of a flint piece. Sorry, was a small baggie of flint pieces. All but two of these are waste product from the production of tools. One piece, however, is the tip of a broken arrowhead, but I don't believe it was a cast-off and would be quite deadly as it is. And you're going to have to excuse me for a moment because my cat Charlie, who likes to hear me read, is at the door and wants to come in. Come on, Charlie. Come on, good boy. Charlie is my critic as I'm reading and lets me know if I'm doing a good job or not. So I apologize for that. But I was talking about the baggie of flint pieces. All of these were the waste product from production of tools, but one piece, however, is the tip of a broken arrowhead, but I don't believe it was a cast-off and would be quite deadly just as it is. This point is similar to the triangular Lavina point I spoke of in my Devil's Lake video a few days ago. This size would make a killer bird or small game point, or even a spear for fish, frogs, or turtles. It measures a shade over half an inch long and appears to be Bayport chert. It's very, very thin. And the second is a longer piece, and I believe a single-edged knife, measuring just under 2 inches long. One edge has been honed sharp enough to make a significant cut even now. This is very dark chert, definitely not Bayport. This could have been manufactured of rock pushed here by the Great Glaciers in the Ice Age, but it could have also been a trade item, as it does resemble some of the darker chert varieties from the Ohio region. Next are 7 pieces of rock that look like they have been broken, and in fact, they have. The stories these stones could tell. These are fire-cracked rock, and they came from the hearth and campfires around the villages. The rock heats up, expands, and breaks apart. The hearths were made up of common rocks just lying about. Across from the Burger King in Oscoda, the sand is littered with literally thousands and thousands of fire-cracked rock. Why would they cover such a wide area? Little has been left to explain it. The only other relics that I have seen from this site is a low-grade red ogre, a really tiny and lovely bird point that I and Kathy had found. How it was so small and so expertly crafted is beyond me. And the only other thing I've seen there are 2 quite ancient copper fish hooks, which were found by my dear friend and mentor, Jerry Wagner. So it is possible that that meals were prepared there, or food that was taken from the lake was prepared there. But I mean, we're talking about a really large area of fire-cracked rock. Jordan also picked up a very nice sampling of animal bone from this site. Any of these could be of ancient origin. All bone at any given site should be carefully looked over, because oftentimes bone was used to craft into tools and also used to make tools. There are some interesting items in this lot of 26 pieces of bone. The first is a flat bone in 2 pieces. Interestingly, it is cut into at each end, as you can see in my photos. What was being done to it? I get the feeling that it was in the process of being made into a type of gorget to be worn around the neck. But anyway, the cut marks are clear indication that it was being worked on by the hand of ancient man. Probably none of these bones would have survived had they not been in tightly packed, very dry sand. They show little decay, but still are in good shape, considering that they may be as many as 500 to 1400 years old, or late middle woodland, to be more exact. I found one of the other small bones, which has a cut mark on it also. There are 2 bones shown here, which have the telltale signs of being worked by ancient man. The wider of the 2 comes to a point, and I don't feel this was from natural breakage. It could have even been an attempt at a young boy to make an arrowhead like he had seen his father do. They learned, as we do in a lot of ways, by emulation. This last piece of bone is very smooth and has a polish caused by handling. But what was it being used for? Difficult to say, just like many items we use today, found 1400 years in the future, would probably perplex the people who found them. This could have been used for smoothing pottery or maybe tanning skins. These types of artifacts are known as problematicals for the obvious reasons. On ancient sites, pottery is what I enjoy finding the most. The decorative styles are as original and unique as the individual Native American woman who was working them. They created masterpieces of the woodlands from the local clays that they found. And for more information on pottery production, please see my series of videos on life in a late woodland Indian village. Let's see. Now Charlie wants back out, so we'll have to let him back out before we continue. I guess that's an indication that he didn't like my reading this time, eh? Anyway, sorry about that again. You see, Jordan actually found quite a small collection from this site, but his finds represent the remains of at least 3 different vessels based on rim shards. So let's take a look at these. The first rim piece measures 1.5 inches, and the pot would have been had nicely spaced incisions around the upper lip. It looks as though the body would have shown the marks of a cord wrap paddle, which was used in the process of producing these pots. Sometimes something as common as a stick, bird, or fish bone may have been employed to add the decorative incisions around the top of the vessel. Now this second rim shard is identical to the one I just showed you, except it's bigger. I am certain that these are both from the same pot. From this larger shard we can see that the rim flared outward some, and also that the inside was smooth but typically porous. The maker used finely crushed rock as a tempering agent for this very nice vessel. Finely crushed tempering would cause this to be a lot more durable than other pots using larger crushed rock for tempering. In an assemblage of about 15 small pottery shards was one surprise, a fragment of a Native American clay pipe bowl. In my original work years ago at the Olvanetten Creek site in Oscoda, I found many of these where refuse had been tossed over the bank. There is not enough to construct what this pipe would have looked like, but it is clearly from a local-made Native American Indian pipe. They were big on tobacco, and it served in religious ceremonies of theirs, and it also served in daily prayer, because they believed that as they prayed while smoking, that the smoke ascended and took the prayers to Gitchimanitu, the Great Spirit. So smoking was very important to them, and pipes were not rare or uncommon in their late woodland villages. And they grew a certain type of tobacco called black tobacco, which they cultivated. Well, that concludes a look at this small but really significant collection from Oscoda, Michigan. In closing, I want to once again thank my friend Jordan Luebben for sending these historic and really delightful relics to me. And I want to thank you for stopping by and taking a listen. Please feel free to leave any comments in the section below, and I'll look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Have a great day.